What is up, guys? It is Oracle, and we're back with another Monster Hunter video. This time, we are going to be talking about buddies. And if you're anything like me, when you started playing Monster Hunter Rise, you didn't really read the tutorials. And if you're also like me, that means you probably didn't really use your buddies to the fullest potential. So, this video is going to give you 5 tips that I implemented recently that are going to really change the game for your buddies, and it's going to make it so much easier when you're hunting monsters going forward. So, with that, let's get into tip number 1, the easiest tip to implement right now, and that is you need to make sure that your buddies are using status effect weapons. Now, personally, I can show you my buddies' weapons here. I use 2 Palicos, and they both use sleep weapons. Let's go to Luca here. Using the sleep weapon. This is a unique weapon, Catastrophe Nell. You actually get the plans for this from a quest, but it does sleep. I think the Somnicanth is probably your next best bet if you don't have this. But with this weapon and 2 Palicos with this weapon, I have consistently been able to put monsters to sleep within the first 1 to 2 minutes of an engagement with them, which is so much a game changer, especially with the Longsword's new Sacred Sheath combo, and of course all the Great Sword Chads out there, your true Charge Slash, doing wake up hits with that. You do so much damage. Just seeing those numbers baffles me. So this is a easy switch if you're not doing it already. I know before I was using elemental weapons, blast weapons, stuff like that for my Palicos. So definitely, if you want to really up your damage and make these hunts so much easier, go with sleep weapons on your Palico. Or even paralysis, that's good too. But definitely status effect weapons. Alright guys, so tip number 2 takes us over to the buddy board, and then specifically the buddy skills screen. And this tip is kind of a no-brainer, but it builds off of tip number 1 as well. It's don't neglect your buddy skills and actually know what these skills do. So easier said than done, right? There's a crap ton of buddy skills here. With a lot of different effects. One thing to remember, and it's something that I didn't know at first, it might have been obvious to some, but I didn't know at first, is these skills don't actually apply to your hunter. These skills only apply to the buddy that has them equipped. So critical up doesn't actually increase your critical, it increases the Palico's critical or your Palamute. I think it might be obvious, but I just might be stupid. So that's one thing. The second thing that builds off of tip number 1 is look for buddies that have status attack up. If you're going to be using the sleep weapon, the paralysis weapons, poison weapons, status attack up is going to increase the potency of those status attacks, as it says right here. So basically, if you have a sleep weapon, it's going to make it cause more sleep damage that'll put the monster to sleep quicker. Multiply that by having 2 buddies that have the same skill on, and you're putting monsters to sleep within the first 2 minutes, 1 to 2 minutes of a hunt. I get that consistently. So this is a must-have. All these additional skills, it just depends on your playstyle, whatever you want. I just say status attack up for me is a must-have. I really like this guide I found on Reddit. It's a buddy guide. It mainly applies to Monster Hunter Rise, not Sunbreak. It's a little old, but I think the information stands the test of time. I have the link to that and credit to the original Reddit poster down in the description, so take a look at that. It does a real good job at explaining the different buddies, the different skills, recommendations, the pros and cons of the skills. Amazing guide. So definitely check that out after watching this video for sure. All right, so tip number 3 is don't don't be afraid to go double Palico, meaning using 2 Palicos instead of a Palico Palamute combo, or even 2 Palamute combo. In Monster Hunter Rise, Palicos are extremely strong versus Palamutes, in my opinion. Palamutes have their pros in the fact that they give you very good mobility. They have their own skills that they have, but Palicos, you know, there's 5 different classes. They each have their own skills. They have secret support moves once you get into the master ranks with Sunbreak. They are very versatile to where having 2 of them is gonna make your hunts so much easier. One thing I will say, if you are just starting out, I would still use a Palamute until you've gotten all of the subcamps or recon points in an area. So Palamutes are really good because they give you mobility, but if you're first starting out and you don't even have all of the subcamps yet, if you don't have a Palamute, you're going to be spending most of the time on a hunt walking to the monster instead of killing the monster. So take that in mind. I think once you hit mid-game or later, I would highly recommend switching to double Palico and use those, especially with double sleep and various other offensive skills. You can take monsters down so much quicker, or, you know, stun, different status effects, that sort of thing. So double Palico, super OP. Okay, so tip number 4 is a very simple adjustment. I think it makes a world of difference. I'm not sure. I really haven't tested it out. I mean, if anyone knows, maybe they can leave some feedback in the comments below. But under behavior, for specific Palicos, Palamutes, any of your buddies, you can set a behavior, and I would recommend changing it to large only. So basically you can select whether your buddy will focus on small targets or large targets. So since I'm personally running a double Palico build, which Palicos have skills and abilities that have cooldowns, I have found that doing a large only behavior is definitely the way to go. So basically your Palicos won't waste their time and their abilities on small monster targets. They'll only use them on your main prey, the large monsters. So with this, it's a small adjustment, but I think it makes the world of difference, especially if you're using Gather Palicos with the Pilfer ability. I've noticed that you'll tend to get more large monster parts than if you had it set to balanced or definitely small only. So easy change, but it makes the world of difference. So that's tip number 4. Okay, guys, so for tip number 5, we are on scene at a hunt fighting a Rathian, because I want to show you that on the bottom of the screen there, you can see on the toolbar your skill menu that usually has your camera and your different gestures. There's a skill that you have called Felvine. Use the Felvine right there. This is a skill that I literally didn't know about until I read a guide and hit, like, when I was in master rank. But when you use this, take a look at the buddies. When you use this, it powers up your buddies, and they end up getting more aggressive and using their skills more often. So this is super beneficial, either right at the beginning of the hunt to just melt a monster, or near the end of the fight to finish them off super quickly, especially if you have Palicos that use, you know, traps or things like that. It does have a decent cooldown, but I think you can use it. You can usually get it off maybe like twice a hunt, depending. But yeah, this Felvine, do not forget about it and always use it. It makes a huge difference, especially with your Palico support moves, for sure. So, All right, guys, I got one extra bonus tip for you related to using 2 Palicos and relating to the class. So the most OP Palico setup, in my opinion, from what I've seen, is the double Gatherer Palico setup. So reason being is because they both have Endemic Life Barrage and Pilfer as skills in their kit, so to speak. So Endemic Life Barrage, basically they throw Endemic Life, toads and whatnot at a monster, which it's random, but it could cause sleep, it could cause paralysis, and as we know, anytime you lock up the monster like that, you're going to be able to do a crazy ton amount of damage before they wake back up from it. Pilfer, it's a game changer when you're grinding out these monsters for parts. I've seen with both Palicos having Pilfer, I've seen like 6 to 8 extra monster parts in addition to various materials from small monsters and the resource gathering nodes out there. It cuts down your farming time by, I would say, in half. I don't know. I have no research to prove it, but doing this setup, it's amazingly OP. It is crazy. So that's your last bonus tip, guys. All right, guys, so that was the last set of tips. I really hope you enjoyed this video or found any of this content helpful for your hunts. I know applying these tips in my hunts, it's been so much easier getting through these master ranks. So if you did find it helpful, feel free, leave a like down below, subscribe to the channel. Putting out shorts and content on a regular basis, and I stream every Saturday or Sunday, depending on my schedule, usually at 5 p.m. So 5 p.m. Central. So I don't know if you could see the tail wagging in the background from my dog Milo. He's super cute. Anyways, guys, that's it. Leave a comment down below. Tell me what sort of build that you guys have or you guys use. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it. I'll catch you in the next video. See ya.